Hi, and welcome to another video with myself, Jack. So today I want to share um, my thoughts about innovation and how I think big businesses are rather failing to really innovate or really adapt to what's happening, because we've got these big businesses that have built, have got years and wealth experiences in terms of building systems that worked, but with the world is continuously changing, I think they are failing to adapt to certain changes, and small little changes that do matter are not necessarily always taken into consideration, but they've got really a lot of impact on how one does business with them, and in the long run this can actually be a big fall for certain industries or certain businesses. So I'm in New York in the United States. Hala, amazing, beautiful city, always busy. From a South African context, around this time of the year, everything just winds down, everything's just sort of like settling down, which is something interesting. It's an experience that I've not seen. I've been attending networking events in the midst of this very festive season. You'd think that people are winding down, but there's still networking that is happening. There's still business cards being shared. LinkedIn is just active and busy, which is just something fascinating about New York. So it is really truly a place where dreams are made, and I understand it is a city that never sleeps. So while finding myself in New York, sometime last week, Monday, right? So I'm sharing this video on the 30th of December. So on the 21st of December, I was working on my laptop, right? It was run about in the afternoon here, where in South Africa would have been in the AMs, right? And all of a sudden, I just get this notification on my phone telling me, on my laptop, as I was working on my laptop, telling me that, they send me like I need to verify, send in a verification code. And I'm like, that means someone's trying to log into my iCloud. And I'm just like, wait a minute, I'm not trying to log into my iCloud. I quickly looked at my cell phone and I realized that nothing's happening there. And I thought, okay, what's happening? This location's coming from Johannesburg, right? So quickly what I did is I rejected that, and immediately rejected that, obviously, Apple picked it up as some sort of security breach. So automatically they kicked me out, or rather locked me out on all my devices, which is great. So the first thing that I had is, obviously I've got access to my bank. The first thing that came into my head was block your bank accounts, block your banking profiles, whichever profiles you might have on this particular iCloud, because I've got two iCloud accounts. So I wanted to, so there's one which I use for business and one is for personal. So the one that's sort of like now attacked, it's my business one. So I immediately went in and blocked all my banking applications or anything that is sensitive on that iCloud, right? And lucky there was no damage done. The only thing that was done is the person who managed to go through my iCloud was able to just change my the names, which is so interesting. I just don't understand. They couldn't change my password. I've got a very long password, I won't tell you the secret behind, but I've got a really extreme password. So when it comes to my passwords, I really have to think about my password, because it's a really, really, really long password, right? And some passwords are just auto-generated by the system, and I try to remember the password, but it's quite long. So it's not easy for anyone to sort of pick it up, and it's not something associated with me at all. So now I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, okay, what just happened? I'm kicked out of iCloud, which my iCloud account is currently on recovery mode, kicked out of WhatsApp. Everything is just not a mess. So if you've been trying to get hold of me on my WhatsApp number, I changed your WhatsApp number there. And because there was some security breach there, everything is just sort of like on froze mode now, which is great. I love the security and the extra measures that all those entities are doing to try and actually protect their consumers, right? But now comes in with a bang. I blocked everything there, and afterwards I go on to my banking profile online. It's still blocked, which is great. Now there's a message that comes in there. The only way I can actually unblock this, I have to go to a branch. Now the problem is I'm in New York, right? And I'm very far, 13,000 kilometers away from the nearest branch, which is in South Africa. So I write an email saying, hey, I'm not able to come to the branch because I'm not in the country, right? And the person I spoke to then said, then I'm actually then transferred to the fraud department. And mind you, doing this on calls and on chat, it's quite expensive. Emails, calls, as well as on a chat platform, right? But so eventually they say to me that you need to go to the consular, like, of your country, or will South Africa to the US. In this case, the closest we've got one here in New York, where I can actually authenticate myself, right? And well, great, that sounds easy, right? I went to the consular, and when I get there, unfortunately, security cannot let me in because I have to set up an appointment before I go in.
Wait a minute, so you're still watching, right? This is the perfect time where you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed this yet. I'm going to give you a moment just to do that. Right, there we go. Simple as that. And maybe just give a comment and just say, hey, FMB, what's up? Right? And the whole purpose behind this video is just to really get FMB's attention. Maybe we can actually rally them up and realize that, hey, guys, we need to be taken serious.
So I couldn't set up an appointment. So I don't have an appointment, so I was not allowed into the building. So I quickly went on the website and see if I can actually set up an appointment. And the closest or the next available date was somewhere in February. I see there are dates available now, but still somewhere late in January, right? Next year, somewhere late next year in January. So I'm like, I cannot surely wait for that long. I need to be able to access the bank because I need funds to be able to, live and to, afford my living here. At this point in time, I'm sort of like cut out. Lucky I've got two bank accounts. So I bank with FNB on the one that is actually questionable, the one that is blocked, and the other one is with Discovery. That's where I have my personal bank. But now, that's why I have like my Forex bank account. So I put money there in dollars. When I was in Europe, I had money there in euros. So now I've got dollars, a few dollars that I'm left with, and I'm slowly running out. Worst part, I'm running out of money trying to recover my account. So the consular said it cannot help me because now I have to set up an appointment. I'll go back, the next available date is somewhere in February, late January. That does not work. So I go back and I write this person who I'm speaking to from, from the bank, saying, hey, this is the problem here. They say the other solution, they spoke to someone from fraud, and fraud saying the only solution I have to get my passport, got a copy of my passport and get it certified. Sounds very easy. It's something that you can easily do in South Africa. Come here in New York, they tell you, like, my friend, well, first, what you're saying is kind of really impossible. We cannot authenticate or really certify a document that was not issued by our government. One, we cannot do that. So what you are asking from us, we cannot do. The people who can help you is your country consular. So we cannot do that for you. So you have to go back to your country, or like go back to your country consular or the representative for your country and help them to assist you with this, right? We cannot do that here. Now, you go around and you tell them, hey, this is the problem. They were like, no, unfortunately, there's nothing else you can do. So this is what the bank is telling me, unfortunately, you can do. You either have to go to the consular or go to the police and get yourself authenticated. Like, but this is where it gets interesting. And I'm thinking we're living in 2023, a world that is very global, right? Where it's so easy to leave a country. So if the banking institution, which is very much we're relying on them for everything, for me to be able to book my flights, to book a place to stay, pay for a place to stay, for me to be able to eat, I need to be able to access my bank, right? And if they're blocking you, and for me to even go to the police station, I mean, I had to take an Uber, so it cost about like almost $80 for all this trip. Just a round trip for those trips, it cost me about $80, or I have to walk or take a subway. But again, for all the things I'm talking about, unless if you resort to walking from one police, by the way, I had to go to 3 police stations because one police station tell you that is off our, our area of restriction and that. So you have to go to another area. You go to this, it's like, hey, this is beyond us. Maybe go to the main police station. They might assist you, but at this point, we cannot assist you. You go there, they were like, hey, you have to go to your country consulate, so they cannot assist you. This is cost. You take Ubers to get to these places, and at this point in time, you are kind of sort of like you're running out of money. I had minutes because I had to buy a SIM card here, which I subscribe to the subscription service where you get minutes. But the other interesting thing that I did not know that now I know is that, you pay for outgoing minutes as well as incoming minutes. So every time I was receiving a call or making a call out of the country, it was eating out of my minutes. So I'm finding myself where you don't have funds, you cannot buy extra minutes, so you cannot even receive calls nor make calls out, right? Your bank is telling you there's nothing you can do. They can do in that case. And this is the way the question comes in. In 2023, I think institutions like banks, there is ways in which they can find and to better ways in which they can authenticate their clients. I mean, already on the app itself, I have to just do a face recognition for it to be able to say, hey, you are who you say you are. But why are we failing with that? And why do you have to run around? What if I was finding myself in a place like Tennessee, or like in a place where the closest embassy, I'll probably have to take a flight there, or maybe take a train, or like really pay money for me to travel there from that place to another place to cancel to get that. But you are told there's nothing they can do in that case. I don't know what must be done. And what if now I was finding myself in a position where I completely had no place to stay? I'm completely not even having a cent into my name to be able to buy food and that. The bank is just telling you, unfortunately, there's nothing they can do. They're blocking your funds and they're holding on to everything, but they can assist you. And the simple answer you're getting from them is, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do in this case. I went on Twitter. I went on Hello Peter. And I mean, it's interesting. I even went on Hello Peter and I found some complaints. I found that there are about 86,000 complaints with F&B alone, right? And some of them are relating to also international complaints. I was looking through the complaints and someone else is complaining about, hey, business, this is this. They've been sending out an email to someone from business. And you're sending people email. You had to go to Hello Peter and say, I'm not getting any form of communication for someone to respond back to you from, after sending 1,000 emails. You're calling in and just explaining to people. They just literally, you'll be on a call and someone just transfers you. Because wait, do not transfer me a call. You transfer it to fraud. And fraud tells you, oh, unfortunately, you have to go back to be authenticated. And I'm like, why are they tossing me up and down like I don't exist? I think the past few days I've been here spending time trying to figure this out instead of actually just enjoying what the city has to offer. I had appointments and meetings that I wanted to meet up with people, catch up coffee with people that I wanted to meet up with to advance my career, which I could not do because I am sitting here trying to solve a problem that I feel this bank can have a solution to, And I'm not venting out in this video. I'm just really just marveled by the fact that we are still failing. There is still lack of innovation, And I really think there's an opportunity for small businesses, for fintech businesses that are coming in. How can we solve this and resolve this where we don't have to find ourselves in a place where you're being blocked from accessing your finances, and worst part, you're in a foreign country. We're 7 hours behind South African time. There's times where I'll be up at night, about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock at night, or set my alarm to wake up at the time just to be able to talk to someone. Because the first person I spoke to was like, unfortunately, you have to have a private banker authenticate you before we can assist you. And they only work between 8 and 5 and 8 and 1 on Saturday. And you're like, okay, it means I have to stay up at night for me to be able to get a hold of this person, right? Because they can help you. And simple as that. What problems you're facing, that's your own problem. And I think this has really created a system that says that, employees are maybe just afraid, or even just maybe because it's December, everyone's just in December mode. But this is the time where I think there's a lot of fraud that happens, Surely there should be a solution to this problem. So that's just my thoughts, and that's just what I'm facing. It's Friday evening here. I still haven't gotten access to my bank. I've been tweeting, just updating the person who's ever answering me on Twitter. Big ups to you. And it's day 11, I think it is. Monday last week was day 7. So it's actually day 11 today, and I still haven't, this problem is still not resolved. And I'm saying again, there's a lot of ways I feel that they could actually authenticate me. I'm sure a video call could be one. There's facial recognition technology. I'm sure they have. If they haven't gotten to that point, there's ways that you can actually investigate my app where it was used. I'm sure it does share location where I am. I actually also generated out a certificate from, I gave them a link with the US government saying, if you put my passport number, which is this, you put my passport number, they put my details, it will actually tell you when I entered into the US, and it will tell you that I haven't exited yet. That means I'm still in the US. So there's a lot of ways. I'm also doing this video. I'm hoping someone can see, but really, guys, this is not difficult. I think there is solutions to this problem. There is ways in which you can authenticate a person. It doesn't have to go through this headless chicken, headless, um, like, like I don't have like to run like a headless chicken to get it solved. So what's your thought? I don't know. Do you agree with the bank? Maybe I'm in the wrong here, or maybe there is those procedures make sense. But I think that, let me say, what's your thought about this? So this is me. This is myself. 11th day, still not solved, and still finding myself not having access to my bank. So yeah, that's my story.